Most Americans would agree that it would be prudent to have a plan to provide for the continuity of government and the rule of law in case of a devastating terrorist attack or natural disaster. A plan to provide for the cooperation, the coordination, and continued functioning of all three branches of the government. The Bush administration tells us they have such a plan. They introduced a little sketchy public version that's clearly inadequate and doesn't really tell us what they have in mind. But they said, don't worry, there's a detailed classified version. But now they've denied the entire Homeland Security Committee of the United States House of Representatives access to their so-called detailed plan to provide for continuity of government. They say, trust us. Trust us, the people who brought us Katrina, to be competent in face of a disaster. Trust us, the people who brought us warrantless wiretapping and other excesses eroding our civil liberties. They say, trust us. Trust us, the people who brought us Katrina, to be competent in face of a disaster.
Have now discovered 14 dead bodies at the Memorial Hospital in eastern New Orleans.
A family of four I saw drowned in their living rooms. They couldn't afford to evacuate. They didn't want to evacuate because they were afraid of looters coming into their homes. And they've been sitting rotting in their living rooms for the last 5 days.
We've got the whole coastline destroyed. I'm out here starving.
The disastrous conditions that prevailed, that destroyed the infrastructure over an area the size of Great Britain.
I mean, you're talking about such a swath of a region here. It's just hard to listen to that and to have to talk about that, and no doubt it'll be never ending.
Don't tell me 40,000 people are coming here. They're not here. It's too doggone late. Now get off your asses and let's do something. And let's fix the biggest goddamn crisis in the history of this country.
The anger is just white hot. You can feel it. And every night we've been hearing politicians on television saying, you know, well, I understand your frustration. And a man came up to me the other day and said, you know what? We're not frustrated. People aren't frustrated here. People are dead.
They've had press conferences. I'm sick of the press conferences. For God's sakes, shut up and send us somebody.
Just take a pause, Mr. President.
How can it be that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of victims have not received any food and water more than 100 hours after Katrina hit?
Are you prepared for another hurricane in that region, or God forbid, a nuclear or biological attack, which we're told could happen at any time?
Sir, you're not telling me.
Those bodies that are there.
Sir, you're not telling me you just learned that the folks at the convention center didn't have food and water until today, are you?
The federal government did not even know about the convention center people until today.
Everybody who pays taxes watching me tonight and watching you tonight wants to make sure their dollars are not being wasted and going to cronies.
There was a body on the streets of this town yesterday being eaten by rats.
This is the first time I have seen that level of frustration and that anger reflected in the people asking the questions, in you guys, in the press corps. And I'm wondering, maybe because of this hurricane, we got our press corps back.
Everybody has been challenging every leader and every agency in this disaster because it's pathetic to see something like this happen in the United States and to see dead bodies still on the ground on American soil. It is absolutely pathetic.
People from the president to the former head of FEMA to the mayor to the governor were saying things that just didn't match the reality that a lot of the journalists were seeing on the ground, and they called them on it.
It doesn't do any good, Congressman, to say Bill Clinton did it every time we raise an issue.
And they have been taking on local, state, and federal officials in a way, an impassioned way that we have not seen in many years.
This is Thursday. This storm happened 5 days ago. It's a disgrace, and don't think the world isn't watching. This is the government the taxpayers are paying for, and it's fallen right flat on its face.
What you got here is thousands and thousands of people who have desperate needs 6 days later.
And all these people are simply waiting for these supplies. We've seen these kinds of images in Africa and elsewhere. We're seeing these images right here in the United States right now.
I'm joined right now by Alabama State Senator Hank Erwin. Senator, thank you for being with me tonight. Explain to me why you think that Katrina was God's wrath.
This is it. No sugarcoating, no political spin, no Republicans or Democrats. People suffering. Let them go. let them out of here.
They won't let them walk out of there because I'm standing right above that convention center. And what they've done is they've locked them in there. The government said, you go here and you'll get help. Or you go in that Superdome and you'll get help. And they didn't get help. They got locked in there.
We have come through what may have been one of the worst weeks in America's history, a week in which government at every level failed the people it was created to serve. There is no purpose for government except to improve the lives of its citizens.
We should all be very, very concerned that 4 years after 9/11, with the formation of the Department of Homeland Security and that gobbling up FEMA, that this was the best they could do. I mean, what were they doing for 4 years?
Did bureaucracy commit murder here? Absolutely it did. There was a big squabble over who was going to have control. They are like rival gangs, and it's disgusting.
I can't believe I'm in America.
The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
This is a story where you can actually see change happening the more questions you ask. And you're not just standing in a desert in the middle of nowhere, expressing outrage. People are actually listening. And the world is watching this story.
It is not about Louisiana. It's not about Mississippi. It's about this whole region. It's about the country. It's about the world.
And tonight, with their babies and their elderly, and they need help that they're not getting. That's the fact in New Orleans tonight, Sean.
Shep, how many people are you talking about on the bridge there? Because we see now as we're on the air here this hour, the images of the convoys going in, the armed guards going in, and you see the supplies going in. Why are they not getting to that specific location?
I don't know.
Yeah, but we know for a fact that there's and how many people specifically are there?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. See, the thing is, people don't know where to go now. They're not being told where to go. 2 days ago, I was on that same bridge at exit 235 saying there were thousands of people there then who didn't know where to go. They went to the Superdome. They were told no. The federal government finally stepped up and said, no, don't go to the Superdome. But they weren't told where to go. So they sit there. It may be because they were worried about chaos in other places if too many people were gathered. There's just no answer to that question. It's one of the first stories I've ever covered where questions as simple as, why do the people on the easily accessible bridge not get food and water, and don't even get instructions of where to go to get food and water and medical attention? It's the first time I've ever not known the answer to that.
Now from outside the convention center in New Orleans is our very own Geraldo Rivera, who's on the ground from earlier today. Geraldo.
Sean, I can't emphasize what Shep just said enough. He said it exactly right. There's no earthly answer that anyone can understand why these people, after 6 days, are still in this filthy, miserable convention center. Why are they still here? There's the freeway here. I tell you what I would have done. What I would still do, I would say, let them walk out of here. Let them walk away from the filth. Let them walk away from the devastation. Let them walk away from the dead bodies in here. They say they're on the second floor in the freezer. I've been on the first floor. It's like Willowbrook in there. I'm telling you, Sean and Alan, this is, you cannot deny that it's 6 days since this natural disaster befell New Orleans. What has happened since is as bad or worse than what Mother Nature did. It's just, I can't understand that. I've only been here in Louisiana for less than a day. I left New York yesterday. But coming to the convention center, it is as if time stopped. It's as if I'm back and it's Wednesday. I saw Fox News on Wednesday, and people were here at this building, the convention center, saying, get us out of here, help us, help us. And now it's 48 hours after that, and the people are still here. None of them, as far as I know, not a single one has been bussed out of here. They're all still here. Why is that? God, I wish I knew. I wish someone could tell me. Where are the buses? There are so many buses that could, where are the, we had a flight 159th Fighter Wing, Louisiana came down, and they were bringing in doctors and medical supplies and kicking off the MREs. out of the helicopters, but none of the people are there. Look at this. Look at this little baby. There's so many little babies. Here. Sorry, how old is this baby?
15 months.
15 months. Okay. I got a baby. You know I have a baby. And you see, there are so many babies here. It's just not, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not a question of objectivity, it's a question of reality. This is how do you, I don't know, man. Let them walk out of here. Let them walk the hell out of here. Let them get on that interstate and walk out, walk someplace, walk to the Walmart on the other side of the river, walk to some other town, walk someplace where you can help them. All you got here is thousands and thousands of people who have desperate needs 6 days later. These people in the same clothes. Where do you think they're going to the bathroom? They don't wash their hands. They don't wash their face, these babies. What the hell? All
right, Geraldo, hang on right there. Chef, we go back to Shepard Smith is also in New Orleans. Shepard.
They won't let them walk out of there because I'm standing right above that convention center. And what they've done is they've locked them in there. The government said, you go here and you'll get help. Or you go in that Superdome and you'll get help. And they didn't get help. They got locked in there and they watched people being killed around them. And they watched people starving. And they watched elderly people not get any medicine. And now they know it's happening because we've been telling them repeatedly over and over every day. And you know what they're doing now? And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm telling you what's happening. They have set up a checkpoint at the bottom of this bridge. This is the bridge that takes you from New Orleans over into Gretna, from Orleans Parish into Jefferson's Parish. It's the only way out. It's the connection to the rest of the world. And they've set up a checkpoint, and anyone who walks up out of that city now is turned around. You are not allowed to go to Gretna, Louisiana from New Orleans, Louisiana. Over there, there's hope. Over there, there's electricity. Over there, there's food and water. But you cannot go from there to there.
I think
the government will not allow you to do it. It's a fact.
I want to get some perspective here because earlier today the images were. Hang on a second.
That is all the perspective you need.
Hang on a second. I want to get perspective in this sense. That earlier today Fox was showing the images of the convoys, of the people getting in there. With the convoys, there was food, there was medicine, there was water, and there were supplies. So obviously we are getting a lot closer than we were. So what is it going to take? What is the time frame? Is anybody saying that we're going to get that was going in there today to the people that you're talking about?
No idea.
No idea. Okay. Because that's what needs to be done. Obviously, it's clear that there is an effort.
You hit the nail on the head. We've been saying that's what needs to be done every day. Everyone here knows that's what needs to be done. I'm sure every caring human being who's out here volunteering his time, or who wears a badge for a living because he loves his fellow man, or who goes out to fight fires because he loves his fellow man, wants people to get help, but they're not getting it.
All right, we'll go back to Geraldo. Geraldo, you there?
Sean, look. Sean, just take a look. Take a look. I want everyone in the world to see 6 days after Katrina swept through this city, 5 days after the levee collapsed, this baby, how old is this baby?
10 months old.
And where's your missing twins?
Yes, this is my youngest grandson and this is their brothers. We got separated.
All right, they're separate. I hope to God, I'm so glad they're not here. They're not here. They're not here at hell on earth. But here, hold this, honey. What's your name?
My name is Anna Lee.
Okay. Look in the face of the baby. This is it. This is it. No sugarcoating, no political spin, no Republicans or Democrats. People suffering. Let them go. Let them out of here. Let them go. Let them walk over this damn interstate and let them out of here.
All right. Thanks, Geraldo. Appreciate it. We appreciate that.